Hi there, welcome to the Woodland Gardener, or welcome back. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy that you've joined in. I had intended today's video to be part 3 of how I plan my garden, but since I haven't gotten to that step yet for my garden this year, I thought it'd make more sense to hold off on that one until I get to that point. So that will be coming, and until then, I thought it might be kind of fun to show you what I've been up to in the garden. We're actively involved with seed starting indoors right now in our Zone 6B garden, so I'll show you what I've done there. One of the first things that I knew needed to get done was just to do cleanup out here in my veggie garden area. And it was not in too bad a shape, but primarily all along the back there where my grow bags are, that had not been mulched yet. I didn't mulch that last year because I ran out of mulch. And so far, the main portion of the garden, the mulch still looks pretty good. I probably will not add to that this year. I'll probably just have like one truckload brought in, and it will be laid out primarily where I've laid new cardboard. I do usually use cardboard as like the underlayment for mulch because eventually it will break down, biodegrade. So that's what I've been doing there, laying out the cardboard, and the grow bags are just kind of randomly placed to hold the cardboard down. I'm still have plans to start on like a real fence this year. You can see that I've got my temporary fencing up. It's like this bird netting on T-post, and my prayer flags around the top there. I have to say that this did not do a great job of keeping the wildlife out last year. Deer were still able to jump over over those prayer flags, which are probably like, they're kind of sagging now because they've been sitting there all winter, but when they were stretched tight, probably 7 feet tall, and from a standstill, like we saw a deer jump from a standstill right about here all the way up and over, just without even a running start. So I'm definitely going to be looking at a fence this year. And I did get a quote on a fence, and it was like way out of my budget. So this is probably going to be like a DIY job for my husband and myself. So currently I'm looking at post hole diggers. We're not sure exactly what type of fencing, but I know it'll be like the 4x4 pressure treated posts, and still yet to decide on whether we want wire mesh or more of like a privacy fence type of thing, but we definitely got to get those posts set in. So looking for like an electric or gas powered post hole digger to make the job a little bit easier. If you guys have any good recommendations on that, I'd appreciate hearing about it. Let me know in the comments. And some of the things that I've seeded so far are onions and leeks. These are just some trees and shrubs that I've got to get into the ground this year. Also, I will be getting this long 12-foot raised bed set in. And the onions sprouted quite a while back, and I thought I would try putting them in the greenhouse. I do need to give my greenhouse a good cleaning. So I've got them in the greenhouse for now, and they're doing pretty well. When I started them, the seeds, it was in our basement where I have a grow light set up, and it's not really temperature controlled too much down there. It's just unfinished. So because they're onions and they can take a little bit of cooler temperatures, it was fine. The thing is that because it was in the basement, it was like there's not a lot of airflow, a little bit damp, so they started getting what I think is damping off disease. So at that point, I started moving them outside during the day, and now our temperatures are getting warm enough. I'm just keeping them outside overnight because they can tolerate the cooler temperatures. And some of the other seeds that I've started are peppers, eggplants, cabbages, a few different herbs, and some annual flowers. The cabbages are doing really well, so I'm going to show you how those are doing now. And those are pretty much staying outside around the clock now too, because they also appreciate the cooler weather, but I'll show you how the seedlings look. So I've just got them on the front porch here, and that's because we were expecting like some heavy rains, and I wanted them to be a little bit protected. When it's sunny though, I set them out where they can get the full sun. I'm doing 5 or 6 types of cabbage this year since I had success with it for the first time last year. So for instance, this one is Red Jewel. It's going to be really nice. And yeah, there's several different kinds. This one is Golden Acre. I did that one last year and it was pretty successful. And my other seedlings are back here in the back of the house in our laundry/storage room. And I've already up potted a bunch of them, like these eggplants, and a lot of the peppers have been up potted, and some of them are still in their little cell packs there. I'm kind of up potting as I get the time. And one thing I wanted to share is that last year, something I did differently when I up potted, especially with the peppers, because I know they're going to be in their pots for a little while since they have to wait until there's no chance of a frost. I did go ahead when I up potted to the soil, add fertilizer. And another thing that I did was, instead of just putting one pepper plant in each of these 4 or 5 inch pots, I did 2, and it was so successful. So this year I went ahead and put 3 or 4 of them in there. And I think it's going to go pretty well. And so that way I didn't have to toss out as many seedlings, and I'll have more plants to plant after the last frost has come and gone. And then down here I've got all my tomato seedlings, and those will be getting up potted probably this week. Also, what I've got going here is kale. So I'm doing 5 or 6 varieties of kale, and I've never started kale indoors, but I decided to go ahead and try that this year just to give them a little head start. And I also will do some direct seeding too, but I thought I would give this a try. One other thing that I thought it might be nice to show you is I am trying apple trees for the 3rd time. It's been a few years, and I think I'm a little more prepared this year as far as how to raise them, just because they can be a little bit finicky. So I've got 3 different varieties here. 1, 2, that's a nectarine that has been successful, and then that's the 3rd apple tree. So they're all varieties that will pollinate each other or are self-pollinating. And because we have so many cedar trees, they're everywhere all around our property. So because we have all those cedar trees, they're everywhere around here, that presents a great risk of cedar apple rust, which I think a lot or even most apple tree varieties are susceptible to. So this year I chose the varieties that have some degree or a high degree of resistance to cedar rust. And I'm also prepared to do the spraying program. It's all certified organic products. That's what I prefer. So we'll see how it goes. Keep your fingers crossed for me. And our nectarine tree has buds that will be breaking open pretty soon. I don't know if that's focusing in. Yeah, it's got a lot of buds on it. Last year was the first year that we got actual nectarines, but they were pretty small and puny, so we really weren't able to eat them. We also did have a pretty serious Japanese beetle infestation of the tree, so I don't think it really did any damage, but I was out here, well, it didn't do long-term damage to the tree, I don't think, but it did damage all the leaves and the fruit that was on last year, and I was out here every day trying to get them, but I really didn't succeed. So I'm also going to kind of get that on a spraying program too. So back to the house, and that's probably going to be about it for today. We do have some wild daffodils coming up here and there throughout the woods. Go take a look at those. They're so pretty. Every now and then I'll cut a few to put inside in a vase, but I like leaving them where they are because this is where they were meant to be. Oh, so pretty. So that's pretty much what I've been up to. It's been pretty busy just trying to pack it all in. And what are you guys growing? What have you started so far? Once April comes, which will be here pretty soon, I'll probably go ahead and get the cooler weather things like the onions, cabbages, and kale out into the beds. And once May comes, like about mid-May, it's usually safe to go ahead and get the tomatoes and peppers into the ground. And until then, there will be some more indoor starts going on and up potting and mulching. This is like the busiest time in the gardener's life, isn't it? And then summer comes and it kind of like evens out just a little bit, and you can relax a bit because then it's just watering and weeding. And then of course fall is gets busy again with harvesting, preserving, cleaning up. Let me know how you guys are doing in your garden this year so far. And until next time, thanks so much for watching. Bye.